Hello. So, my aim with this podcast is to help law students think beyond the confines of corporate litigation and judiciary. And I'm really happy to introduce the guest of today's episode, Ms. Moshvica. She's a person who personifies Robert Frost's poem, The Road Not Taken. Despite being a top performer throughout her academic journey, she was clueless after 5 years of law school. However, eventually she has become the youngest teaching cum research associate at Rashtriya Raksha University, Gandhinagar, which is an institute of national importance and comes directly under Ministry of Home Affairs. In this episode, we had a heartfelt conversation where we delved into her law school journey, which is very relatable to ours, her post-law school struggles, current job, and other helpful insights. So watch this episode till the end and let us know if you found this relatable and helpful. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you so much for joining in, ma'am. I'm so happy to see you here.
Same here.
Okay. So, ma'am, please tell us about your current role at Rashtriya Raksha University.
Okay. So my name is T. Moshvica, as you all know, and currently I am a teaching cum research associate at Rashtriya Raksha University, which is governed by Ministry of Home Affairs, and it's an institution of national importance. This is in Gandhinagar, Gujarat.
Okay.
So that's my profile for now. Elaborating more on the profile. So that's a different name that we have got in this institution. But I'm a faculty here. I'm a
Yes.
faculty. I am in the Department of School of Internal Security and Police Administration. Because I had a background in law. Thereafter, I did my master's in criminology. I cleared my NET JRF in criminology last year.
Okay.
And then I appeared for this particular position of faculty for this institution. So currently, I'm taking subjects like criminology, Indian Constitution, anything related to law, internal security, and criminology.
Okay. Ma'am, we'll come back to it, but let us revisit your law school days. So, how are you in academics during your law school?
Um, so I don't know whether it's right to say or not that I was bright enough
Why not?
to,
Why not?
I was bright enough to be in the spotlight most of the time, but academics was something that did not let me take the extra mile. So I never paid much attention to it because I was very much into, like, when I entered law school, being that student who wanted to sit in the first bench, I turned out to be the student who was never in class.
Okay.
So right from my first semester, I was who was probably identified or maybe found out by the authorities that okay, this person can speak well or communicate well. So mostly, whenever there was any event that was held, like having addressing of any dignitaries, from the Supreme Court, High Court, or any, like for that matter, anyone important is coming. हर चीज important ही होगा. तो हर चीज important होने की वजह से every time there's an event, so I became the moderator, the event
Right.
coordinator, you know, everywhere. So I never realized that academics, that I was capable of becoming an academician. I was mostly a UPSC aspirant when I joined law school. But with time, by the time I came in my mid law school, I realized I wanted to do something in industrial and labor laws.
Okay.
And thereafter, my journey just went on into, like, at least for 5 6 years, I was mostly into competitive. That was my target.
Okay. And
Academics was not my first preference.
okay, as you mentioned, ki you were most of the time involved with events and moderating and everything. Indore Institute of Law gives a lot of opportunity to us to show our skills on that and upgrade our skills for that. I feel. But what about co-curricular act? Did you participate in moots and debates and other activities?
I did. Actually, Indore Institute of Law, I can never forget. ठीक है, ये एक ऐसा इंस्टीट्यूट था जो I came from East, so
Okay.
this institute was very fancy at that point of time. अभी तो और fancy हो गया because it is giving that kind of platform to students.
Right.
हमारे time पे जैसा भी था, so we were very much outgoing. मतलब I don't think any student of Indore Institute of Law को last minute में भी perform करना ना आए. So my law school
Totally
days
relate. I can
prepared me.
totally relate to it.
So my law school days actually, it was not something like, okay, I'm preparing to become an advocate or I'm preparing to become a lawyer. That does not happen. We think in school कि अच्छा ठीक है हम law करने जा रहे हैं, we'll wear that black coat and then we'll end up into the courtroom. But it's like that. When you move into law school, you do realize that upon the institute that you choose to be a part of, and what is the kind of platform that जब मैं इंदौर इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ लॉ आई थी आई वाज कंप्लीटली ब्लैंक. बस एक ही चीज दिखता था, मुझे यूपीएससी करना है और मैं लॉ कर रही हूँ, एडवोकेसी करना ही है. बट वहां आने के बाद मुझे जिस तरीके से ग्रूमिंग मिली तो मुझे समझ आया कि अगर मुझे 11th आवर में भी कोई कुछ काम बोलेगा आई विल डू वेल.
आई थिंक दैट इज
दैट्स द
वेरी
काइंड ऑफ
इम्पोर्टेंट.
ग्रूमिंग.
समटाइम्स वी थिंक कि पढ़ाई हैम्पर हो रही है, ये सब नहीं करना है, बट even that is important, and I think more so in the professional sphere when we enter the professional sphere.
There was one statement our HOD at that point of time used to say, it is still with me, that ऐसा नहीं है कि 5 साल बाद अचानक से बाहर निकलोगे and you will think that you have become the lawyer from Suits और तुम एकदम से black टोपी ऐसे फेंकोगे and you are the law graduate from this
Right.
particular institute. So those 5 years of law school, now I say, irrespective of which institute you are, irrespective, government, non-government, NLU, non-NLU, what really matters is how you work upon yourself. You can't always put it on the institute and you can't always put it on yourself also. It is a balance that you have to bring, that what you bring to the table to them and what they can give to you. That is
Absolutely.
what you take out from your 5 years of law school.
Absolutely, ma'am. So, ma'am, which subject did you enjoy the most during your law school days, and is it helping you in your current job profile?
To be very honest, my first preference was industrial and labor laws,
Right.
because in the third year, somewhere I realized I can do well in that paper. Apart from that, criminal laws and constitution was something that I really enjoy.
And it
And
is a
now,
part of your job.
yeah, now, yes, now the first preference goes out of the list. It is completely nowhere to be found. But the other subjects that I really enjoyed is something that I'm really taking classes in right now. So it's like something that does not take much of an effort.
Right. And I can see you're enjoying this profile, this role.
I do.
Great, ma'am. Ma'am, you were a UPSC aspirant and you had this labor law and industrial practice in your mind. So I would like to ask you this ki, do you believe in having a backup plan? Or do you think कि नहीं,
Mm,
अगर एक सोच लिया है तो you have to do it, otherwise आपका you're not confident enough if you go for a backup plan. So what do you think on this?
one should never place all their eggs in one basket.
Right.
So elaborating on that, it is always best to focus on one thing. No doubt about it. You have to
Right.
focus. But that one thing is not your life. Like for example, if I run a 100-meter sprint, that doesn't mean that for the rest of my life that is done. That is the only race I want to run. Or I I don't know, okay, I can run 400 meters as well, but who will tell me that?
Right.
So simplifying that part, एक चीज पे फोकस रखो, पर दो तीन चीज हमेशा ये भी याद रखो what you enjoy, so that you never know what is best for you. I thought in my third year when I was interning in Tata Motors and I was very much into the suits kind of corporate, glamour thing. After my, UPSC thing was shifting,
Yes.
and I was like, nahi, मेरे को एक कुछ रखना चाहिए कि मैं घर जाऊं वापस. आई बिलोंग टू जमशेदपुर, सो आई वाज लाइक कुछ नहीं तो इफ माय यूपीएससी और व्हाटएवर दिस इज वर्किंग आउट, नहीं तो आई विल enter into Tata. Today, neither of that worked out for me. Neither. So do not be anxious in your law school कि 5 साल बाद क्या होगा, क्योंकि 5 साल बाद हो सकता है you're completely clueless. And
Right.
then also it's not that big a deal. It's okay. It's okay to take your time. अगर हर चीज 20 में ही कर लोगे तो बाकी के 80 साल 60 साल क्या करोगे?
Right. So, ma'am, with this, I would like to ask you, what advice would you give to your younger self if you could? And by this question, I want you to address every law student at that age.
Breathe. The world is not ending. Learn to breathe. I can assure you right now also we don't breathe fully. Why I'm saying this is what is supposed to happen will anyway happen. Even if
Right.
you choose the any other different route, you will still go take a round and come back to core. So if you have done law, trust me, that is one strongest kind of education that you have already gained. So
Right.
nothing will go out of your hand. With that law background, except for the law field itself, anywhere you go, they will see you as someone who is coming from a highly intellectual background. You'll be able to
Absolutely.
do anything and everything in this world. So try figuring out not where you score more or where you will be paid more. Try to figure out what you love more, where it does not take you extra effort to reap the results.
Right, ma'am.
I would just like to say my younger self and all the people who are in law school right now, just breathe. 5 साल law के बाद भी there is no pressure that you have to immediately start, um, encashing it. ऐसा नहीं होता. You have your entire life to prove your worth.
Okay. Ma'am, please tell us about your post law school journey.
Post law school journey, I was clueless. Being the topper in the university, I was under so much pressure to prove myself that I did not even sit for placements. I may have encouraged myself to do that, but I did not. And I ended up because I was so much into UPSC and I was not able to, come out of it. I was choosing other routes. I was thinking about sitting for Assistant Labor Commissioner, Leo, that is Labor Enforcement Officer.
Hmm.
But no one counseled me enough. Yeah, I did not go to the right sources to get counseled or researched well. That such examinations are also very, very rare. Like you
Right.
cannot waste your time on that. You cannot.
There is no
And
regularity of notifications in exams conduction.
there are many things you can, sit, compete with, and prove yourself.
Right.
Um, and But the preparation, because I was always into UPC, it always kept me on my toes to be prompt,
Hmm.
knowing about things, and
Right.
answering things. So that helped me when I after that chose masters in criminology, and it had subjects like criminal law, forensic psychology, forensics. So I thoroughly enjoyed, and then I gave my NET JRF in that, and I cleared it. So that's how I'm here today, being a faculty to the students and trying to help them out with new, ways they can use their subjects or utilize their subjects to identify themselves more.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, so were you preparing for UPSC or you wanted कि उसमें जाना है, you had this thing in your mind, or were you already started with that?
When I was in school, so I was in humanities. I
Okay.
come from core arts background, so I really wanted to
Go
crack
for
UPSC
UPSC.
at any cost. Yes. By the time I was in law school, I was never in class and I was too much into extracurricular.
Right.
It did not hamper my academics for sure, because as I told you, I you can score in university exams if you are just smart through your syllabus.
Right.
So that is how, like there was one thing that I wanted to do, something that you need to satisfy your soul. So thing put me on a very long journey, but now I know what I want, like actually needed for myself.
Right.
That is why now I am like finally set.
And what are your future plans?
Actually, with this last year when I cleared NET JRF, I also cracked my PhD interview in one of the National Forensics,
Oh,
uh,
wonderful.
in National Forensic Science University. So I cleared my interview for that as well. But I had an offer letter from this university as well, and everything was happening all at the same time. And I was like, okay, so let's not be impulsive. And because of my, that heart into teaching made me stay
Okay.
here, and I will be enrolling soon for PhD again. Because I have a JRF, so I have a 3 year time to enroll anywhere I want. That is
Right.
up to me.
So, ma'am, you have made your mind to continue in this profession only. Wonderful.
Yes, academics is something that is not making me like do something like beyond. Like when I enter into class with the students, I see myself just
Right.
a desk. I was there and now here. So I just want to give them what maybe if I would have got at my time, वो extra time जो गया है to figure out things, वो नहीं होता.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, please don't get offended with this because I also wanted to pursue academics. I still want to. So, uh, when I told this to my friends, some of my friends straight away told me कि तू सच में ये करना चाहती है. मतलब वो जो एक माइंडसेट होता है ना कि जो कुछ नहीं करता है वो पढ़ाता है. मतलब if you're not,
Yeah.
it's always a plan B. It's never plan A. So, did it ever hit you, or what do you think about it?
No, actually, after becoming a faculty now, when I'm addressing students, it just feels that finally, I know it might sound cliche to many people, but it makes a lot of difference when your students come and ask you that, ma'am, you sure you're taking class today now? We are coming to your class today. Like, when you see that there is an entire generation looking, I'm too young right now to say these statements.
Absolutely.
I've just entered into the field of academics, but no other profession, I don't know, no other profession. I have seen people working in corporate, I have my friends working. I've never seen them giving something like these statements कि आज उनके वहाँ पे workplace पे किसी ने ऐसा बोला हो.
Right.
Every day I'm looking forward to go to college. Not my own college in the times, but like it makes me feel like I'm doing something different. After generations also, people will remember me for what I have done.
Absolutely, ma'am.
And also one more thing that I learned in my law school, just because you're very highly educated or highly qualified, not every teacher can teach. So I just want to become that kind of an academician who, irrespective of which university, which institution I am in, I want to see that each and every student of mine, years down the line, they give me that call and say that, ma'am, do you remember me? I was that student. You made a difference by just that one statement of yours. Something that like that it counts.
Ma'am, you
I'm
know
very
what?
happy to be.
You just inspired me, and uh, I'm feeling more confident about choosing academics. Actually, my plan is कि after graduation, I'll go for practice for 2, 3 years. By the time I complete my master's, I'll practice, and after that, I'll switch to academics because obviously you cannot teach before your master's is completed. But I have heard a lot of negative sentences about it. I'm feeling really confident after hearing you.
No, it is. It is. I swear. I have other work as I am. I'll be very honest with you. I don't think I have that much of a research like aptitude like which
Okay.
calls me. Like if you'll tell me I have to do a research paper, I'll still be like, "Arey, karna hai." But if you tell me to go to a class, I'll be more than excited. I mean, that's the only place where I think that you transport yourself and your students to just another world.
But I've also been told
It,
कि if you want to go for academics, you need to have a lot of research papers published.
yes, yes, I'm comparing. I'm saying that, see, right
Okay.
now I have a profile which is teaching come research. It
Yes,
is the job of faculty. Here in my institution, there are various different ways of
right.
profiling, but I'm involved in research projects as well. But over
Okay.
there, I can still procrastinate. But to take a class, I think I'll take double in a day or a triple in a day for one. It's something like that. Overexcited to be.
राइट मैम। थ्री इडियट्स में बोलते हैं ना, इट्स नॉट अबाउट मैं आपको सब्जेक्ट या इंजीनियरिंग तो सिखा ही नहीं रहा हूँ, मैं आपको ये सिखा रहा हूँ कि पढ़ाते कैसे हैं। सो
I know there are many very well-known people who are highly educated.
राइट
But what is the use if you can go to a class and the communication is not complete with that student? You may
राइट
give 5,000 advanced readings or maybe three advanced readings. But if the basic concept of that student is not clear, then what is your use of being so highly educated? So
राइट
even though I am going to study more, I'm going to do a couple of maybe more masters up to, I don't know, like I want to study more. I'm not stopping here just because I'm happy with my profile right now. I want to do more so that tomorrow, whenever I address a crowd, students of course, and maybe any other, like here where in institute I am, it is not just students that we have to teach. You have trainees coming from Central Armed Police Forces, State Police Forces, you know, from abroad as well,
राइट
from the internal security. So it's not about only कि टीचर है तो सिर्फ पढ़ा के आना है, ऐसा नहीं होता है. You
एब्सोल्युटली
have to be very much on your toes. Like being a teacher is like you have to know more than the crowd you're addressing. It's
राइट।
not a small job. It's not.
So me going for this practice, the only purpose is कि I want to go into a classroom with some experience, with some field experience, so that I can deliver better. This is what
Yeah,
I think.
if
And
you have interned well in your 5 years, then also it is good
yes,
directly hopping into academics. Or else if you're taking practice, it is even better because you'll
right,
be able to tell them about your own experiences as well.
right, ma'am.
But I think in 6-7 महीनों में मुझे जितना earning मिला है, I'm not talking about the monetary. I have students who have told me कि मैम आपकी क्लास क्यों नहीं हुई? Why were you sent to that? Like because we have forces coming down to our
Yes.
institute also for training.
Hmm.
या delegates आते हैं. I interact with very high officials like DIG, DGPs, etc. Like
And
it's
how do
not just
you
about teaching.
tackle these things, because you are too young and you might be dealing with people who are in very high positions. So, uh, isn't it intimidating for you?
Yesterday, I think on Friday, I had a meeting with one of the DIGs. So I was walking with him and he told, aren't you just too young to be a faculty here? So you just said the same statement. I just feel that if you keep that inner child of yours, irrespective of your age, always there, you'll be more inquisitive. You will be more appealing to the crowd. They would love
Right.
to come around you. It's not just about studying.
Absolutely.
It's not just about just getting into a profession and start earning. It's about what you hold as a person. What are the vibes that you carry? Then irrespective whether you are addressing a student of bachelor's or you are a student or you are actually addressing or teaching some high officials, okay, or you're sitting before
Right.
anyone for that matter. It's just about how you carry yourself, what comes out of you at that minute when they are speaking to you.
Right. And you must be feeling really happy and proud when you speak to them, and they find your inputs insightful and useful.
Um, when I chose to accept the offer letter here, even I was very much nervous. I was saying my profile not just allows me to teach being the youngest faculty here, but it also gives me that kind of exposure. As I told you, my director of the school is Major General. Okay, I have to report to a Major General retired, and then I have retired DYSPs as subject matter specialist. I don't know tomorrow suddenly out of nowhere someone from Ministry of Home Affairs is coming down, or some DIG, DGP is coming down, and then you are giving the task to hold a meeting with them or even interact. 1 or 2 days before, I'll be told that okay, you have to fly down, and there's a meeting. You have to be the spokesperson. So if I had not been part of Indore Institute of Law, like a law school student, and if I had not been part of criminology or explored my way through all of these subjects, I would not have ended up in a position like this. I'm not
Right.
saying that it's still the best or not, but that is the kind of confidence you get to speak when you have explored your own self and your own journey. If you
Right.
get it like a snap, it's good. Maybe you'll win. You'll think that, you just came out of law school, you cracked a package, and then what after a couple of years? So, being adventurous, explore yourself, choose subjects for subjects, not how much money you will make out of it. Then only you will end up in places where people will identify your worth.
Right, ma'am. That was lovely talking to you, ma'am. Do you have anything to say to law students who are listening to you?
Law students, I would just say you're already studying law. That is in itself everything. After this, wherever you end up, even in the parliament or in your own house, you start something. Right from that to this, like whatever variations of opportunities you can think of, law will always be your backbone. So you will never end up doing anything small. It will always be something different. It will always be something big.
Ma'am, but how to hold yourself when you feel like you have messed up? Like you mentioned about the expectations, about the burden of expectations. So, how do you say yourself, ki, it's okay, cool, things will happen slowly and gradually? Because
When COVID happened,
when we look back, we can say, ki, nahi, nahi, हो जाता है. But when you're facing it actually in the real time, how do you tackle that?
right now, I'm happy with my job. I know. But there are times when I'm like, okay, कैसे होगा? तो वो कैसे होगा ना, वो 10th स्टैंडर्ड पे भी लगता था जब आप पेरेंट्स यूज्ड टू से कि 10th का बोर्ड निकाल लो, you'll be all sorted.
Hmm.
12th का बोर्ड निकाल लो, you'll be all sorted. That is the same story. So no matter wherever you are, I have been there. I
Hmm.
am not saying that I can understand you. I can never understand you. Maybe in 2024, what you're going through may sound similar to what I went through in my law school, but it will still be your
Right.
different story. So in that moment, there is only one thing that you can do. Again, breathe. Second, जो होना होगा वो तो वैसे भी होगा. Whether you put in effort or you don't put in effort, that is what matters.
Right, ma'am.
Just keep doing things without thinking about the result. What I did sometimes, I remember that I should speak of this is like, don't think about the outcome. Maybe you are a perfectionist, and because of your perfection, you might delay. You might not give the output only. Or maybe you are a backbencher and you think, kya hi hoga? Don't think about the outcome. In that moment, just do it. Outcome anyway will come. Something will come.
It's actually very difficult to keep doing without thinking about outcome. Although we all know this is the solution, but it's really very, very difficult.
See, for example, whether you do something or not do something, is anything gonna wait for you?
No.
No. So it's better to do something rather than regret later on that, अरे मैंने नहीं करा. I did something. I remember I did not sit for my placements. Recently, I pushed two students who were not sitting for placements because they were thinking the exact same thing that I was thinking a couple of years ago. I knew where they were, what shoes they were wearing. And when the interviews and all ended and they came out and they dropped me a message, that is what I made a difference. And I feel that, okay, maybe I can't go back in my own time, I don't have regrets. I'm still saying if I would have taken those placements, I might be just doing something that might not have made me happy.
Right.
Everyone has their own journey. So I just know no matter what, any law student sitting out there, you are studying law. You're already studying subjects that takes half of your brain cells. Why don't you trust yourself that you will do something good?
Actually, we are studying law and we are not understanding the gravity of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're studying law that can change. Like, if the law changes, what happens? Everything changes. Every single thing. Why don't you trust yourself? कुछ भी नहीं करोगे ना तो भी कुछ करोगे. Best part ये है. कुछ नहीं भी करोगे ना तो भी you will end up doing something.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. It was wonderful to talk to you. In fact, I myself got inspired and got the confidence to move with what I was thinking, what I had planned already. And thank you so much for taking out time.
Same here, same here. Thank you so much for letting me, be on this platform so that even if 0.1% of a difference can come in anyone's, journey right now, I'll feel that yes, it paid well.